Chairman, thank you so much, and we'll get into some Q&A in just a little bit. I mean, I know this guy doesn't need any introduction, but I just want to say, you know, you don't accomplish in Congress, you don't accomplish anything alone. You know, we work together as a team, and you can be very proud of the team that you have in Pennsylvania. We have, well, in the Republican delegation in Pennsylvania, we're the fourth largest delegation in Washington. Now, let me tell you how remarkable that is, because when I was elected in 2008, and most Republicans were voted off the island in 2008, not onto the island, we could have, and after I was sworn in January 2009, we could have had our delegation meetings around a card table. That's how small we were. But you know what? With your support today, we have 13 out of 18 seats, and our next speaker is just has been a great guy to go to. We do work well as a team. We all have our committees of jurisdiction. They're all different, and that serves Pennsylvania well, because I know that you know, the committees of jurisdiction expertise that Pat Meehan brings, I can go to him, and he can be my voice in those areas. You know, in agriculture, he comes to me. We work together, and so I'm just real proud to have one of my colleagues here who's a great supporter of Pennsylvania's #1 industry, agriculture, here with us today. And I'm proud to be in his home area, Congressman Pat Meehan.
Well, Mike and Walt, thank you for having sat at the farm. What's the old story? Everything's been said, but not everybody said it. I'm only going to take a second, but I want to say thank you for my two colleagues taking the time to come up here in our backyard and spend some time listening to these very, very important issues. I had the chance to be out here Monday. I was out with Travis Kinnaman over here at Breakaway Farm. We were looking at some of the issues with regard to the thoroughbred horses and the importance of that industry here in Pennsylvania. I had a great chance to be out at the Hershey Farm, where I really got to see firsthand the implications of the labor issue, and particularly when we're not talking about seasonal agriculture, which is the kind of a distinction that I think Bob made. I was out at a farm just a little bit further up the road about 6 months ago in Lancaster, and the EPA issues that Bob talked about are so real, both in two contexts, with the local township commissioners dealing with the runoff, where all of these issues come back to you as taxpayers. You're not just small business people dealing with all these issues, you're taxpayers, and these implications are, those responsibilities are trying to put on your shoulders, and as Bob said, for things that have no appreciable merit. Not that it wouldn't be good, but the outcomes. So we have passed laws in which regulations have to be justified before they're put in place. Those are the kinds of local things that help us to make a difference. I want to close my comments by focusing on what GT said. First and foremost, what a pleasure it is to be part of the Pennsylvania delegation. I'm pleased to share much of this area with my good friend, our good friend Joe Pitts, who, as we said, is away in California today at a family function for his deceased sister, or he would be here. But Joe's been a great partner in this region, but GT, as he has identified, each of us brings expertise. Mine is a former U.S. attorney, Homeland Security, and some of the issues that Bob deals with on judiciary. When we have the tough issues, GT has spent the time working with your representatives and knows them intimately, and is able to counsel us so we do the best possible job. And I think you will find almost uniformly, you see consistency from our delegation because of that, and it has given us some of the highest respect in the entire delegation, in the entire Congress, and our ability to have an impact because we can speak with one voice. That has a heck of a lot to do with the leadership of GT on ag issues. And I can't tell you what a pleasure it is. And you know, we shouldn't oversell something, but this is pretty remarkable to have the head of the Judiciary Committee, who handles all of these issues, who comes up for just because he wants to listen. No other issue takes that long ride and comes up here that says, I want to understand. And because of GT's invitation, said, absolutely, I'll be here. It is a tremendous pleasure to be able to join with Bob Goodlatte. You heard him speak a little bit about the issues that we're facing and the complexity of that issue. But we're here to listen, not to talk. I want to thank both of my colleagues for coming to the district, but most importantly, coming to listen to you, and I look forward to participating in the forum. Thank you.
I want to take the opportunity. Team is important, and I introduce, give one of our county commissioners from Chester County, but I'm actually looking forward to introduce him in terms of what I hope will be my future colleague. We were actually shocked when our good friend Jim Gerlach announced he was going to retire. We didn't see that one coming out of anywhere, and but when those announcements occur, then we're always thinking about, well, who possibly who's out there that would join our team and keep this remarkable delegation. And it is a great delegation. If you follow the news, there's nothing happening in Washington. Well, this past week we had a little majority leader race, and I won't get into the mechanics of that, although to say that I think it's just reflective of how important the Pennsylvania Republican delegation has become there, and it's largely because of our teamwork. There are 3 delegations that are bigger than us, but the leadership would have told us that none of them work as well together, in a deliberative way. We all cast our individual votes because we all represent our individual constituents, but we work together as a team, well as a team, to the point where if you watched any of that ramblings by the media and what they tried to make out of that situation with the leadership elections, frequently they talked about how the decision was going to be coming down to the Pennsylvania Republican delegation. So, there's a gentleman that's gotten to be a good friend of mine. I hope he's going to join us here in November. The commissioner from Chester County and a candidate for that congressional seat, Ryan Costello.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Chester County. I'll be very brief. Let me just say a few quick things. First, I've been a township supervisor for 6 years, and I got to know the agricultural community pretty well, but learned it from a very local government perspective. There are things that townships can do to help farmers. There's a lot of things that townships can do to hurt farmers, and I was always on the right side of those issues. But as county commissioner, I've had the opportunity to work with our IDA for next generation farmer loans, and we have an Act 319 program. And we're always very sensitive to the needs of the farmers and try and address them through our Agricultural Development Council that's run through our Chester County Economic Development Council. But running for Congress is certainly something much, much bigger, and when it comes to farm policy, much more complex. So I just want to give you all the assurance that I'm taking the time to listen and learn, and I have a lot to learn, as anyone does running for Congress, and I'm going to make sure that agriculture, as the #1 industry in this Commonwealth, in Chester County, and particularly in the 6th Congressional District, is at the top of my priority list to make sure that if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, I'm learning from you, and I'm making sure that I represent the agricultural community in the 6th Congressional District, and through the leadership of Congressman Thompson, Congressman Meehan, and Chairman Goodlatte, and Congressman Pitts, that if I'm a voice in Washington, D.C., I'm a voice in Washington, D.C. that's representing your best interests. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from Chairman Goodlatte and the rest of the Pennsylvania Congressional Delegation.